Or how do you define the test case? Where do you note down test cases?
Yeah, exactly. So we'll be going through the requirements, and through the
Mm-hmm.
requirements we will be defining the deriving the test cases. So the test cases earlier we
Mm-hmm.
used to write it in the Excel file. So now we move to the Jira.
Okay.
So in the Jira we do have a
Okay.
Jaffa scale. So in that Jaffa scale, we'll be writing what is the test case ID, and what is the test case, and what are the test steps, and what is the test data which is required, and what is the expected output and actual output and status. If there are any bugs will be attached, and also the mainly priority column will be there. Say for example, if you have hundreds of test cases, as soon as the production rollout happened, so which are the top priority test cases we have to perform at the first. So then what are the based on the priorities we'll be executing it. So that priority column will be there, and bug id and comments column will be there. So in Java scale we'll be writing the test cases.
Okay. If you're saying bug ID, you're automatically creating a bug ticket, or
Yeah, in Jira, the story will be created, and for that story, subtask will be created. In the same story,
Mhm.
we will be creating a bug. So using the bug tracker in Jira.
Okay. Um, then can you explain how you would create a test case using Selenium? So basically, how would you start? How would you run? Maybe also, do you use multiple projects, or are you running one project in Selenium test case?
Yeah, exactly. So once the feature is stable, so initially when the dev submitted the task for testing, manual testing QA
Mm-hmm.
will be executing all the manual test cases, and if there are any bugs, they will
Yeah.
be getting it fixed. And once the functionality is stable, so then in the next sprint it will be going to the automation cycle. So in that particular automation
Mm-hmm.
cycle, what we are doing is what are the test cases which we can automate, which are suitable for automation. So those test cases we will be taking up, and we will be writing the Selenium and using the Selenium and TestNG. So in Selenium and TestNG framework, there will be page class, and there will be a test class classes in Java classes. So in the page class, for that particular page, what are the web elements required to perform the actions, and also actions method will be performed. So there will be one more class for the same page called test class. So in that test class, using the test annotations, we will be validating the responses which is given by the methods which are in the page class. So like that. So do you want me to show the sample, how do we write it like that?
Yeah, sure.
I'll open a notepad, and I'll try to
Mm-hmm.
write it. So I'll present my screen.
Mm-hmm.
I hope my screen is visible, right?
No, it's not yet visible. No.
Yeah, actually I shared the screen. Not sure.
Now it's coming. It's yeah. Now it's visible.
Okay, fine. So say for example, assume there is a page called intake page. Say for example, there are patients first, they will go through the intake process, right? Say for example, it is an intake page. So in this page
Mm-hmm.
classes, so we'll be defining the web elements. So using the find by annotations. So here what is the X path? So we will be writing the X path. So what exactly it does is so here it is the type of web element. and what is the name of that element. Say for example admit, like on click of this is a button, assume it is an admit btn. So it's a button. So here, like there will be an expert saying that, say for example, uh, button, there could be id which is equal to some button. So I'm just like writing in the roughly. So here there will be a constructor called intake page. So in this particular constructor, we will be like initializing all the web elements using the page factory that init elements.
I think it takes a moment. I think it's delayed because right now I can see just publicly yet. So I guess it's typing still. Ah, now it's coming.
Yeah. So for this particular web element, there will be method like public void verify admin.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the button. So what we are going to do is like using this btn dot click. So using this is the Selenium method called click. So what it does is like the driver is going to find this button and it will do the click options. Okay. So on click of that, it has
Mm-hmm.
to redirect to the some other page.
Okay.
So in that case, what we are going to do is like driver dot get title. So this will provide me the landing page title. So that I will be storing it into the string variable called title. Okay. So this I will be returning from this method. So this is the page class, exactly how it will be there. So there is another class like so I'll maximize the screen so that it is. So there will be another class called intake page test class. Okay. So this particular class, so there will be like method called before method. So this annotation will take care of the launching the void setup. So this particular method will take care of setting up all the browser and initiative and all. It will set up the prerequisite. So here where exactly our test case comes into the picture called a test. So the priority, the based on the priority, we will be assigning the priority which is equal to 2. I mean, say for example, which is equal to 1. Any number based on the priority we can give it. So here, void verify admit button. So here, this
For
is
what
where
is the priority used?
so priority is equal to 1. So the
Yeah.
priority,
What is the purpose of priority?
say for example, in this particular case, in this particular class, if we have some 10 test cases, okay. So the test meaning is
Mm-hmm.
the test case. So the priority meaning is if we have 100 test cases with the priority 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 like this, so it will execute based on this priority order, which is order of execution of the test cases it will control. Say
Mm-hmm.
for, say for example, if this is one, assume like there is a one more test method called priority which is equal to 2. Okay. So in this case, while executing this particular class, this test case will be executed first and this test case will be executed second. So the priority is goes like that. Coming back to this the test case, I'll try to conclude this one. So for this particular
Mm-hmm.
class, we'll be creating an object inside the like this method equal to intake. This will be like we'll be keeping it outside this method so that we can access this particular variable in the outside as well. So using this variable, I'll be calling this method. So anyway, this method is already like returning the string, right? So this will return me the string. So this one I'll be storing it here. String title. So here, there is an assert syntax called we can validate the expected versus the actual. Assert equals. Okay. So here, what is the actual thing? Is the this thing. Say for example, this is the thing, and here the expected. For example, our intake page. The moment when this particular on click of that one, if it is landing into the art intake page, and if that particular page title is art intake page and this title matches, this test case will pass. If there is a mismatch in between the expected and actual, this test case will fail. So that is how currently our framework is.
Okay. Now, how many test environments do you have?
So we do have one is working and prepared, UAT, staging and production. Five environments we do have, ma'am.
How? Okay, then I have two questions. One is you are having these different environments. In which environment do you automate these, or do you run these test cases, and how do you define where this test case should be run,
Yeah, exactly. So
or
first
this
of all,
project?
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
these test cases will be written and executed in the local site. Okay. So on top of all these classes, so there will be a class called base class.
Mm-hmm.
So in this particular class, we'll be setting up. We'll be declaring the driver. Driver is equal to new clone driver. So here a driver dot get. So this is where exactly the environment is going to happen. Okay. So here I'll be checking one condition, like if uh, 1 second. Uh, so there is a file called configuration properties. Okay? So in this particular, this is a text file. So here we will be maintaining all the URLs. Say for example, local URL is equal to something https colon slash slash colon something like local.com. So this is assume this is one URL I do have. This is another URL. This is another URL. So this is local. Assume this is pre-prod. This is production. Okay. So here I'll be reading this variable. Okay. So if the environment uh, prop dot get property of like you know uh, not this one. 1 second. If the URL dot equals prop dot get property of local URL. This I'll be passing it as local. So what it is doing is so it will be getting this URL, and if it is local, so then I'll be launching this browser. Else,
Okay.
else one more condition I'll be writing it, saying that if it is pre-prod, say for example if this is the pre-prod, then I launch this browser, so that the entire execution will takes place in this particular place, in this particular instance. So that is how we are controlling currently.
Mm-hmm.
So based on the configuration properties file, whatever the config we'll be passing it. Assume these two are commented out now. Only it will run in the local side. So for example, if I comment out this one and if I uncomment this one, it will run in pre-prod instance. Yeah, hello.
Yeah, yeah, I got it. We are doing it slightly different. So basically, first part is you will test locally, that's true, and then you have these variables, but when we are pushing the test case, we are and I think you are also running test cases in Jenkins, so in remote branch, right?
Yeah, correct.
In a CI/CD,
Yeah, correct.
and now basically you have different instances, right? And then you're not testing anymore locally, but you maybe want to run the test case also in the other environment
Yeah.
or in another. So basically, we are passing variables when running, but basically you define some variables. But we will take it from pipelines, the variables. I have one other question from how you would solve it. So basically, um, we have different versions of our product. And as you can imagine, in a new version, there are new um, features available, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so basically, one version is created and new features will be available. How would you ensure that even if you need to test the previous version again, that you can skip the features that are not yet available?
Okay. So currently, like in our project, we have not come across this kind of scenario.
Mhm.
But based on my experience, what I can think of is we can control it using the GitHub branches, I guess. For this particular version, so if one code is available in one branch, and if the latest feature is available in that code is available in some other branch, I think
Mhm.
by using that code, say for example, new feature code will be there in one branch, and the old feature code is available in the previous branch. So if we use the old previous branch, I mean that repository, I think we can execute the previous version test cases.
Okay. Yeah. One option would be to do it with branches. The problem is as soon as we are merging the branch, it will run always. But you're right, the first approach is going with a branch.
Yes.
Okay. Right now my uh, first, or I think these are my questions for now. You explained about how you would implement things. Um, you explained that you're using Postman for API validation, but not for automation, right? Just for some basic testing, is it?
No, ma'am. We are doing the chaining process inside the postman. Like it will call one request after the other request, so it will do the internal validation without any manual intervention. So automation also we can do using postman. So there won't be any human intervention
Okay.
during the running of the postman collection.
So basically, you have collections and you're
Yeah.
running in Postman, you're running collections.
Correct.
And there you're using scripts
Yes,
tab
exactly.
to test.
Correct.
Okay. And this you're using basically you're storing your test cases and next time you will rerun if those are still working.
Yes.
Okay. And JMeter you said you're using for performance testing.
Yes.
But you're new to JMeter.
Yeah, yeah, correct.
Okay. Can you maybe give me a quick intro where you're using um, the SQL database?
Sorry, ma'am, can you please come again?
Um, how do you use SQL database? You're talking about
Yeah, yeah,
that you're
correct.
using SQL database?
Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like whatever the data we are inserting or updating or deleting the data in the database, right? So we are like manually going back to the SQL. SQL DBs, and we are writing the manual queries like you need to like select and group by and also like updating the data and modifying the data and all. We are writing the queries and we are doing it now for our verification purpose.
Okay. So it's like a provisioning part.
Yes, yes. So like writing the query and verifying the data in the database.
Can you give me an example of SQL query?
Yeah, sure, sure. My screen is visible, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, sure. Say for example,
Yeah.
assume there are two tables. Say for example, products and users. So say for example, if I want to verify some uh, uh, values in the products table, like we'll be writing it select a star from products. And also like what is the
Hmm.
condition we want to put, where the maybe the product id is equal to some id 100. So this is like like that we can verify in the directly for this particular product. Say for example, there will be an users, for this user what are the products available. So if I want to check that one, so first I need to connect both the tables, select a star from users comma products, uh, where users dot product id is equal to product dot product id and users. Say for example there are few users, like I want to see for some 10 users, like 10 comma 20 comma 30 comma 40. Say for example for these many users, what are the like select say for example I want to check some details like product description uh, from. So this will provide me for this many users what is the product description in the product table for these users. So come by connecting these two tables, so I can get the details from these two tables. Hello.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So I don't have any further question. Do you have any questions to me?
Yeah, ma'am. Like if you can explain how the team internally works and what are the different technologies
Hmm.
as a QA we are going to use. If you can elaborate on that, it would be great.
Okay. So how are we working together? So basically, the QC team is one central player knowing all the features of our products. So basically, um, the most important and crucial part is you can only write a good test case if you understand the business feature. That's our first, so most important part. So this we are highly interested in that the QC team is aware of the features and they are in direct contact